Hello everyone, my name is Molly and today we are here to discuss the books I read in January and the books I plan to read in February. So this is my first wrap-up video of 2017. I did not do as much reading as I wanted to in January, but I felt better about reading. Like, I was into the books that I was reading and they were giving me all the feels, and so I just felt more like into it. Even though I didn't read as many as I wanted to, I felt into it. I felt absorbed into the world, and that just made me feel a lot better because I haven't felt that way in a while. I only read 2 books in the month of January, but they were 2 really good books, and so let's just dive into those. So the first book I finished in January was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the ACOTAR series, for those of you who don't know, but if you don't know by now, where have you been? Why are you on BookTube? You should read it. It's so good, and just read it. Read it. Read it. Definitely prefer this to her Throne of Glass series. I really enjoyed it, especially A Court of Mist and Fury. Like, I thought it wouldn't get better from ACOTAR, but it got so much better, guys. Like, if you watch my A Court of Thorns and Roses book talk, you'll see that I was very sold on Tamlin. I was a very big Tamlin fan because I thought that was what was best for Feyre. I thought it would be nice for her to have that simple love that she had with Tamlin. This book opened my eyes to the fact that that was a stupid decision and she should love Rhysand. It's not even a competition anymore if you read this book. Like, it is not a competition. Rhysand all the way. Tamlin is not a factor. He's not a player. He's not in the game anymore. I'm so happy I finally read this book. I can't wait for ACOWAR, and guys, it's gonna be insane. It's 700 pages and I'm so excited. Court of Thorns and Roses is a Beauty and the Beast retelling using the world of fairies, which is quite interesting because I usually don't like fairy books, but these books are amazing. Highly, highly recommend. And push through ACOTAR so you can get to ACOMAF because, guys, like, when I said this is one of the best books ever, I was not kidding. It is one of the best books ever. Please read it. Please, please. There's just so many feelings, and not even just for Rhysand, although he's like Rhysand. Just every character that was introduced in this book, the storyline, the journey that Feyre was put on, just, it's all so good, and you have to read this book. The other book that I read in the month of January was Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. Now, my friend Anna posted on Twitter and she was like, oh, does anybody want to buddy read any of these books? And I was like, oh, I have Girl in Pieces. I'll try to buddy read it with you. So I did. I read it and it was pretty great. I'll link her channel down below, by the way. You should check her out. But yes, so this book is quite different from anything else I usually read because, like, you know, I usually read books like A Court of Mist and Fury and, like, a fantasy-esque world, dystopian, you know, stuff like that. No. This is about a girl with depression, and it's her story as she journeys through being on her own for the first time in a world where it's hard. It's hard to be on your own, and she has a tough time, and it's just such an emotional roller coaster because you're like, oh my god, she's happy, I am proud of her, and then all of a sudden it's just like, no, wait, we've come so far, and this book just makes you feel things, and it opened my eyes a little bit more on the world of depression and the world of self-harm and just really emotional stuff, and you really feel for these characters, and it's insane. Like, just the feelings that you get in this book, you have to be ready for an emotional read, because this takes, like, a lot out of you. Like, it's a good book, it's just, you have to be ready for the feelings and the emotions that this book will evoke from you. But it's also inspirational, because I left it feeling inspired. The message of the book is, like, you're going to be okay. Like, you will find your place and you will get through it. And it's such an amazing storyline. If you're in the mood for that type of book, please pick this one up, and I think it's a very important subject for people to read on and educate themselves on, because I know there's a lot of people out there that have depression, and I know there's even more people out there who are like, that's not a disease, that can't hurt you, you can choose to overcome that, and you can't. It's it's a journey that you have to go on, and it's hard, and people need to support you through it, and I think this is a very important book for people to read to understand that. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to my February TBR. It's not too crazy. I've already read 2 books this month, which I'm pretty proud of, you know, reading. So I didn't include those books on my TBR because I've already read them. I'm not really sure what I'm in the mood to read next, but I'm just going to show you a bunch of books and hope I read some of them. The first book I actually don't have the physical book of, but I have the, what's this called? Dust Jacket, and that is The Edge of Everything by Jeff Giles. This is a new book that had some hype surrounding it, and it's pretty interesting because you look at it and you're like, oh, contemporary. Like, the title is contemporary, the cover looks pretty contemporary, you know. It's not a contemporary. It is about somebody who takes souls, and they have to team up with this girl, and it's so interesting, and I wish I could tell you more, but, like, I honestly don't remember, because I just remember, like, souls. Like, whew, souls, that caught my attention, and also the people that blurbed it. There's some good people like James Dashner, Melissa De La Cruz, Cami Garcia, Cassandra Clare blurbed it. When I saw that she blurbed it, I was like, I'm buying it. I don't care. She said, sharp, dark, thoughtful, and romantic, readers will thrill to the start of this exciting new series. So, I'm excited to read this. I think this will be my next read. I'm really feeling it right now, guys. The next book I have on my TBR is a book I've already had on my TBR, but I never actually finished reading it, and that is The Walled City by Ryan Groudon. I had this book on my TBR like a month ago, 2 months ago, I can't really remember, and I never actually picked it back up. I got pretty far in the book, if you can see that, and so I want to actually finish this book. I just haven't picked it up because I've wanted to read other books that I've finished, so maybe after The Edge of Everything I'll pick this one up and just finish it. I do want to see how it ends. Basically, this book is about a city that is walled in. There's walls keeping it from the outside world, and people can pass through the walls. Like, it's not like you're trapped and you all have to kill each other, but like, it's a very poor city and gangs rule the streets, and you have to have a bad life to live in the walled city. This follows 3 main perspectives. One's a prostitute, one's like just a vagrant, and one's an undercover vagrant. It involves a different culture, which is interesting because I never really read about this culture. Like, the names are Jin, Mi, Yi, and Dai, and so, like, I think that's pretty cool to read about something different, you know, something diverse. So the final book I have on my tentative February TBR is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Sorry, that was bad, but I have no idea how to say that name. This book is actually an interesting take on Jack the Ripper and his storyline, and I think the main character is in love with Jack the Ripper, but she also is hunting him or something. I'm not really sure what is going on, but I know Sasha from the book Utopia read this last year and she loved it. Like, she absolutely loved it. And I've heard really good things about it. It sounds really interesting, and lately it's been like kind of pulling my eyes when I'm looking at my shelves, and so I think I'm going to try to read it this month. It's pretty short, it's not big at all, and it just sounds like such an interesting read, and I've never read anything about Jack the Ripper. Like, I know some of the storyline, and I read a little bit about Jack the Ripper when I read the Infernal Devices trilogy, but other than that, I've never really read about him, and so I think it would be a pretty interesting thing to read about. Alright guys, so that is my January wrap-up and my February TBR. Let me know what you guys think of these books, or what you've read in the past few months. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I try to upload a video every week. If you like my videos, then subscribe, and I'll see you next time.